Welcome to the Live It Right podcast, hosted by John and Caitlin Lindsay. We're going to be talking all things health and wellness, from food, fitness, relationships. So if you want to live your best life and live it right, join us for this conversation.
So whether you're a health enthusiast, a busy professional, or someone looking to achieve a more fulfilling life, you're in the right place. Tune in, subscribe, and join our community as we explore the path to living it right.
Let's go. Welcome back to the Live It Right podcast. This is episode 13. This is our first post-vacation podcast. We're getting back to it. We had a hurricane here too that slowed us down, but we're back at it. So episode 13, we are talking maintaining healthy habits through the end of the year. Some tips that we like to use to make sure we just keep our goals going throughout the end of the year.
Well, I'll kick things off with saying, we all know the holidays brings about stress. We get off our routines. We are challenged in different ways than we are the rest of the year. It's just chaos. Mm-hmm. So
jobs are busier. I think almost regardless of what realm your career is in, it seems like everybody's job's got a little bit more going on as we get to the end of the year. So you've got that on top of it too. It's just so easy to talk yourself out of doing the things that have been awesome and really serving for you all year. It's so easy to get out of those things.
And it's also, unfortunately, the time of year when people try even harder to get you off of your good habits.
No, not intentionally either.
Not intentionally.
You get the peer pressure of friends going out at night.
I mean, parties are happening throughout the entire week. People shut off from work. A lot of people, not me. This is the busiest time of year for me, but it's just like a switch is flipped. Mm-hmm. And this week is Halloween, and that is really when things just take a turn. Yeah. So we both agree the first and probably most important thing is to set realistic expectations. And, I'll kind of talk through this a little bit.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, sure, of course.
Because your business as a private chef gets crazier. You're doing more elaborate parties, which just requires more back end work for you. You have big fitness goals, which I'm sure you'll touch on. Mm-hmm. But what do you think the biggest thing is? What stresses you out the most that you can't, because you're so busy, you can't get done? Like, what is the thing you really want to do?
It's the fitness
side
of things. Because I have not, for those of you that may have missed it, I am training for a half Ironman. And this is the first time since probably high school that I have set big physical goals. And I have never had a goal physically that I've been training for in the midst of literally peak season. When I say peak season, this is when I'm doing parties that take weeks to prepare for, tens of countless hours to prep for, and then take recovery time on the back end. And then it just rinse and repeat. So the hard thing for me is I am going to have to figure out is setting realistic expectations. I'm not going to be doing brick workouts, which is like 2 workouts a day back to back. There are going to be days I'm not going to be able to work out at all.
Yeah.
But I am on my feet constantly. So it's going to be shifting my mindset of what is realistic from a movement and a fitness perspective, and understanding from my perspective and the way I think is I have to tell myself, like, this is the best you can do. This is realistic. And I need, so that I don't feel defeated or that I'm failing myself. It's really important to map that out and to have a plan in advance before stuff gets crazy.
I'm glad you said that, because we have slightly opposite personalities. You're so type A. So if you're not, like, you've got your workout for your Ironman training and maybe you worked 18 hours, 2 days in a row prepping for it, you so badly want to check that box of, I'm supposed to bike and swim today. And it's like, there's literally no more hours left in the day. You can't. Like, shifting, having realistic expectations. Let's say maybe you got a free hour and saying, I'm just going to jump on the trainer. It's right there. The bike trainer. I'm just going to do 60 minutes. I'm just going to stretch. Doing something, I find, that just it's not exactly what you wanted to do, but it's still maintaining that healthy habit of something, fitness and moving the body. Not only does it feel good, it's probably a stress reliever from what you're doing, but it just continues to encourage that habit. We're two people that we're probably never going to give up fitness, but if you are someone that's maybe you're new to getting into the fitness, or you know yourself well and you're like, yeah, I go through these waves where I fall off the wagon all the time. Like, just doing a little piece of your workout, 15, 20 minutes, can be crucial for just maintaining that habit. And, you talk yourself out of that workout once, you do it again the next day. All of a sudden, it's been a week in the middle of November. And then it's like, oh, well, Thanksgiving's coming up. I'll start back again after that. And then, bam, it's been 2 months and you haven't worked out.
And I will say, speaking more to the women, because not every household, but the majority of the household, it's going to be the woman preparing the majority of the holiday meals, the one that is running. That's not always the circumstances, but for the most part, yes. What I tell you to do, if you say you don't have to, get up 30 minutes earlier. And I would highly suggest for during the holiday season, you get the workout done first thing in the morning, because I can promise you there will be 25 things that come and get in the way and will keep you from getting it done. That's the nature of the holiday season, period. And if you set the precedence of your day by starting it with the workout, starting it with the movement, you're likely going to make better nutrition decisions. You're going to prepare, you're going to start the precedence of your day in a better, positive, more uplifting mood to begin with.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you know this about me, but I've come to realize that, like, hanging out with friends, family, whatever, if I don't get my exercise in, I am not the same person. I am not the best version of myself, which is unfortunate, not just for me, but anyone around me too. So, I know that with myself. So I make it a point. The family, friends are going to start stirring around 9:30, 10. We kind of need to be present. So, I'm getting up at 6:37. I'm making sure I get in whatever workout I have time for, run, bike ride, body weight workout, whatever it is, get it in early. Like, to me, that just makes me feel so much more me, like myself, like, especially if I'm away from the house. Like, if I can get in my workout, the thing that I love to do and really makes me, I think it's just sets me up for a much better day. And, the people around me will probably have a better day too, because I won't be irritable. I won't be like trying to sneak away in the middle of the day or anything like that.
What I'll say, this is like a little side note off of that. We're both the same. I think I can mask it a little bit better than he can in the midst of everyone else. But I will say, it's not just important for physical, it's mental too.
No doubt,
if the most you can do is go on a walk, or if the most you can get up and journal for 15 minutes or stretch, like, just do something that starts yourself off in that positive mindset and space, because it will do wonders for your decision making throughout the rest of the day and the season. But that is, the other piece of it too, and I know this isn't the case for everyone, but the fitness side of things, predominantly more so for you than me, but it is for me in a way, and I hope to be a bigger presence. That is your job. This is part of your job. And like, our friends and family have to understand, like, we want to set an example, and that's what you find works best for you.
Yeah, definitely. And as I said earlier, I think for me to be the best version of myself, and for people to get the best out of me, like, I have to do my thing first. Like, that just is what it is. Like, and I'm not going to do it in the middle of the day. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to make sure I get up early, and because I honestly like to be out of sight, focused. Like, I don't like to minimize distractions anyways. So getting up early, and that's the nature of how we work out anyways. Well, at least I do. I work out early every weekday morning, and most weekends the big physical activity is in the morning anyways. So it's maintaining that habit as well.
But one thing that he pointed out, and we can wrap up this piece, is he said, if we know that the family's gonna be starting at 9:30, 10, we get up at 6:30. So we are still respecting family time. We are still respecting that time that we're spending with the friends and family, while still making our desires, our passions, and what we need to be the best version of ourselves, setting a goal and setting some parameters around that. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's healthy.
Yeah, definitely. So how do you, let's segue a little bit. How do you, so same thing, but the food piece of that. There's more tempting stuff around. I mean, we tend to have stuff at our house sometimes that's never terrible food, but I mean, I think we both have the problem of over consuming.
Yeah.
And so how do you look at that when you're like, okay, we're starting to get close to holiday seasons. There's more temptations food-wise around here. Yeah, we're still exercising. That's always going to be something we do. We're not going to leave that piece behind. We do struggle with that sometimes.
We do.
And I'm probably worse than you. You, at least, almost a benefit you have is you can't have gluten. So if we're at somebody else's house or something else.
Most of the time I can't have the sweets.
I'm usually pretty good, but if I've had like a glass of wine, a beer or two, and there's a plate of cookies, like eventually I'm going to indulge. So
I think so. Yes, that is something for those of you that think that we don't eat dessert, you're crazy, because we do. And that is a problem like that we have. So like when I have parties, I will sometimes make a little extra. That's my biggest struggle is like, I have to taste test. I have to make sure everything's good. And it's really hard when it's just like all party food and it's sweets and it's indulgences and it's stuff like that. So like, to be honest with you, I know we're going to hate this. We'll probably eliminate pizza Sundays through the holidays just because of the higher carb meals that we'll be consuming. I mean, depending on the week. But for me, especially knowing what I have coming down the docket, you know, we've talked about this in how, like, the healthy eating episode. I will probably make more of an effort to prep meals so that during the week we are strictly eating. Like if I have meal, like party prep, I know that I've prepped lunch and dinners for us, that I know that we have a balanced meal available. And that's something that we've not always been fantastic with it, but trying to restrict ourselves to that indulging for the holidays only on the weekends. I mean, unfortunately, we normally bail on midweek activities just because we have to get up early.
yeah.
But one thing is for some meal prep, so you have the stuff. You know, if you're someone, this is just a little tip. If you are someone that you know you're going to a family member's house or a friend's house where you know the options there are going to be literally not just not good, but like on the extreme side, offer to bring something and you indulge in what you brought. That's another little, that's just an idea.
Something that, because this is, I wouldn't say an all year struggle, but if we have good food around, like I'm going to eat it.
Sure.
And something we've done maybe over the past year is we weigh ourselves every morning.
Oh, yeah.
And this is something I never thought would be that impactful for me, but it almost stops bad habits in their tracks for me. Because if I'm like, oh man, I'm up 4 pounds after this weekend, which happens from time to time, it really gets me back on track.
Low carb dinners.
Low carb dinners. We want to eat dinner earlier. I might push my fast in the morning a little longer. And it's easy to get back to the ideal weight fast. But it's, again, this is something I didn't think would motivate me, but it is seeing that number. I'm like, dang, that's okay. That number's right, because I do feel like I've overconsumed. I do feel a little foggy this morning. So it's nice to see that. And to me, it almost always just stops you in your tracks. A funny thing I like to do when traveling is if I know I'm like almost on a roll of eating like cookies or something, I'm like, man, if we sit here and keep watching this football game, I'm going to keep eating this. I will go like floss and brush my teeth. And then for me, it's a mental, like, you're done consuming. So it's, for whatever reason, I've done that a couple times and it like just stops me. I'm like, okay,
that's a good idea.
It's done. Yep.
I mean, I will say a couple tips I've given to people in the past, and they said that this has very much so worked for them. If you really do struggle, especially when it comes to socializing, I've always encouraged people, if you're going to a party, eat dinner before you go. You will have already eaten at home. And that way you may only pick like a few things because you're full. Also, if you are someone, I mean, we're not going to get on like the heavy subject of alcohol, but I would highly encourage you set a max for yourself. Say, I'm only going to consume going to consume X amount of alcohol tonight, just because the alcohol can really, that can compound over time.
Oh yeah.
Especially during the holidays.
Weight gain, feeling like crap the next day. Like
Yeah. It's just and I've had people, that did say that eating a meal, something healthy before they went to a party did most certainly help because they weren't hungry to pick.
Yeah. That'd be tough for me.
I know.
There's tempting stuff. That might work for some ladies, but I don't know if that would work for me.
Yeah.
But
well, it's just a thought.
Yeah.
It's something that's worked for a few people. I will say for people with food allergies, it is easier to do that because 90% of the time I can't eat almost the majority of what's being served. So
from not so much a sort of a food standpoint, but definitely a drinking standpoint, something that helps me, and it's helped me for probably the past couple years is, we talked about exercise in the morning, is having that already planned the night before, whether it's a cool bike ride, a run, a body weight workout. I already know what it's going to be. And I've at least talked to you about it. Maybe I've put it out in the ether if we're around friends and family, like, oh, we're going to do X, Y, Z in the morning. And so that way, mentally it's like, okay, do I want to have another glass of wine? Do I want to have a couple more cookies? I'm like, well, I'm doing that workout. I'm doing that ride tomorrow. Like it's because we are fitness fanatics for sure. So we want those things to be fun and enjoyable. And I find that just knowing what physical activity is coming the next morning is like, okay, I'm going to slow down here and I'm probably also going to go to bed early or early-ish.
Yeah. And, for those that may not have big goals like we do, just think about how much better you'll feel, you'll operate, you'll sleep, because it affects all of that. And it's just, I feel like the hardest thing for so many people is it's just a snowball effect over the next 2.5 months.
Yeah, totally.
And you just keep pushing. Oh, well, January 1st. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go off the deep end, and you can indulge. Yeah. I'm not telling you to not enjoy your holiday season, but just do it like with more of a conscience of like, be more cognizant of what's going on around you. Because you can certainly indulge without going overboard.
Yeah. Have a little less. And then when it comes to your fitness, just set realistic expectations, get something in. And it's, being able to just maintain that habit throughout the next couple months is going to it's going to make it so much, when you do have your free time back, you're just going to be able to, you're going to be so ready to jump right back into it.
Yeah. And then just one little tip for the hostesses out there, such as myself, who love to entertain, who love all the details and all that kind of stuff. I will tell you, just a friendly reminder that it is about the people that you're with and not about exhausting yourself over perfection. Because I will tell you, I'm a culprit of it, but you'll lose sleep over it. You'll get stressed out over it, and lack of sleep, stress, all of those things lead to poor decisions.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. So just remember, enjoy it. Enjoy it in moderation. Enjoy it with parameters and with your long-term goals in mind. Keep that long-term goal in mind, because you can definitely enjoy it without, you don't have to restrict yourself completely. So.
Yeah, that's great. I think the sum up is set realistic expectations and, think kind of what you just said. Think about your future self. Think about your future self. So, because
waking up on January 1st without having to backtrack all that time is going to feel real good.
Yeah. And I guess never, I almost used to feel bad about this, but never feel bad about doing some sort of fitnessy thing in the morning if it makes you feel if it brings out the best version of you. Because I think
we're both a lot more enjoyable when we get it out.
Yeah, for me, that's definitely the case. If I get a good workout in, a little sweat, my endorphins are running, and it's going to be a better day for everybody.
Very true. And he can handle sitting down a little bit longer.
A little bit longer.
You got anything else?
No, that's good.
Alrighty. Well, we will see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Cheers.